Hello and welcome to this presentation designed to help you with your online Gifted and Talented Program Approval application. My name is Mary Catherine Stein and I'm the Program Coordinator for Gifted Education. The first step in completing your annual GT program application is to access the application online. Here are the steps involved in finding your district's online application form. You will need a try and password to access the form, which provides the security for the forms. You may need to get a try and password from your district if you do not have one. First, go to the website listed and access the Arkansas Data Center website in the lower left-hand corner. Click on the icon for Online Forms. You will need to log in with your Try-and account information, and then a list of forms will appear. Click on the Gifted and Talented Program application. The first screen you find is the authorization page. Please review any information that may have already populated the form and make changes as necessary. Emails about the status of the report are sent to the superintendent and to the GT coordinator based on the emails entered, so be sure they are correct. If you have more than one high school and multiple AP coordinators, please list all their names and emails in the boxes provided. Be sure the superintendent is aware of the report and realizes that when it is submitted electronically, it is assumed the superintendent has approved the report. You may want to make a PDF copy of the report and give it to the superintendent. Below you will find a place to indicate the licensure of the GT coordinator. Most GT coordinators hold the 305-306 GT licensure, but the newest licensure code is 289. If you're teaching under an ALP, a copy of the additional licensure plan should be uploaded here. Be sure the document uploaded is actually an ALP. The next box on the application is very important. Any changes to any of the areas listed should be described in the box. For example, personnel changes, except for pre-AP and AP teachers, or changes to program options should be recorded, or school board approved policy changes. Be sure listings for personnel are the names listed for teachers in the teacher licensure database. If there are no changes, just put no changes. Below the change box is an ADE comments box. This is the area where we make comments, ask questions, and indicate the need for revisions. Please do not try to answer questions in the ADE comments box. The program will allow you to type, but it will not save anything. Changes or explanations need to be made in the boxes above. The status box is also very important. It will change depending on where you are in the approval process. Expect to have to clarify or make revisions because the accuracy of the report is important. It is not a race to get it finished, but a give and take until it is clear that GT standards are being met. When you have completed a screen, be sure to click the Save button or your work will not be saved. A Close tab will appear, and then you'll know that your work has been saved. Then you can click Next and go to the next screen. If you want to see the next screen, you will have to put a marker in the boxes before it will let you save and go on to the next screen. Screen 2 is the report about student data, the program options for services being used, and the documentation of the services. The graph across the top of the screen will be filled in as you enter data. The ADE comments box for this page and the Save button is near the top, which can be confusing. Be sure to read the reminders about programs, student contact time, and the content codes under the title. As you enter data, the program builds a chart below. You will need an entry for each grade level indicating the number of identified students. Enter all grades, but you don't add the number of students served in K through 2nd or 3rd grade. The program option primarily used, the minutes per week, the content areas, and the teacher or teachers providing services. If more than one type of teacher is involved in providing services, explain how services are divided. For example, if the GT teacher meets once a month with secondary students, indicate that here. If students on a grade level are served in both pre-AP and AP classes, indicate that, and be sure we can tell which courses are pre-AP and AP on a grade level. Then describe how services are documented. You don't have to list teacher or student schedules here. List the documents that are evidence of service, such as lesson plans or an AP course syllabus that has been approved through the AP course audit process for AP courses. Here's an example of the chart. The documentation listed in this chart should be available during on-site monitoring for all the grade levels and years since the last on-site monitoring. Here's an example of the resource room option with proper documentation that will be available during the next on-site monitoring. Here's an example of grade level entries with multiple forms of service delivered by several teachers. On the 3rd screen, you begin entering pre-monitoring data starting with 5.0 and your staff development plan, both formal, informal, and for all faculty when appropriate. There's also a box for ADE comments. The next screen is for 6.0 personnel data. List the GT coordinator or administrator and teachers as their names appear on their Arkansas teaching licenses and the last 4 digits of their Social Security numbers. You also have the option of scanning copies of teaching licenses and uploading a file to the application. Further down on the page, you are to describe the process of selection for GT coordinators, administrators, and teachers. You may include the district hiring policy, but be sure the process indicates how jobs are advertised, how interviews are conducted, who makes the hiring decision, what the qualifications for the job are, and whether the process is non-discriminatory. Below the ADE comments box, provide the job descriptions for the positions, which should be part of district policy. On the next screen, you will upload the schedules of all those listed on the previous screen, including GT teachers and the GT coordinator or administrator. Be sure the schedules are clear for the reviewer to understand what is happening at any time. Be sure to include times for lunch, preparation for classes, and administration of the program. Indicate all assigned duties so there are no blanks in the schedule. You do not have to include extracurricular after-hours activities. Please label the uploaded file so it is easy to tell whose schedule it is. On the next screen, the identification process is described following the prompts. Please describe the process rather than copying and pasting the standards. Note that most of the prompts ask how something is done. Next, list the instruments and procedures used for identification, and please add the information asked for in the additional bullets. Be sure to address each of the 4 prompts about parental involvement. Be sure your district appeals procedure addresses GT standards, including number 11, page 18, and 7.03 and 7.05. Describe the opportunities for ongoing identification and annual review of placement by the GT teacher. Describe the district exit policy, which should address number 12C, page 18, 7.03, and 7.05. The Program Options section asks for your long-term goals for your GT program, which should be student-centered. There is a place on this screen to upload a table of organization for the district showing how the GT program fits into the organization. The curriculum screen asks you to describe the district GT curriculum for each program option with references to differentiation in content, process, and/or product. This part of the application asks for an upload of your scope and sequence. Be sure it is clear when concepts or skills are introduced, developed, and mastered. Please address all three of the prompts about evaluation. Address both the prompts about student evaluation, including how student progress is assessed and how participation is noted. You may upload a student evaluation instrument if you want to. Be sure to click Save and then Next on this page so you go to the application status page. Notice that each part of the application has an individual status. There is also a Submit button on this screen, and when you are ready, click it so your application is submitted to us. You and your superintendent will get electronic emails regarding the status of your application. Be sure to review the comments and make revisions as needed so your application can be approved. The application will not be approved until the on-site visit is completed, even though everything may be approved. Consult the monitoring guide for the documents that will be reviewed on-site. Your application will be archived online for future access. Thank you for viewing, and thanks for all you do for gifted students from the Office of Gifted and Talented and Advanced Placement. This is Mary Catherine and Crystal Nail. Please call if you need additional assistance.